rowdier than you guys are right now a little bit later. But I'll tell you guys a little bit about DNA and what we do if you don't know. So DNA is a business that was started many ages ago, early on in the crypto world, and we provide a few different services. Our goal is to provide advisory services around crypto, all aspects of crypto. It was founded by myself and two other gentlemen, Brock Pierce, who some of you may know, is a quite OG in the crypto space, has been around for a really long time. And I'll give a little bit of the history of Brock and what he did. And then Scott Walker, who's probably one of the most prolific investors in the Web3 space. He's probably looked at more Web3 projects than anybody out there, has invested into hundreds of crypto projects of all different aspects. And then myself, I've mostly come from the TradFi business. I've taken 3 different companies public, and that's our goal really with DNA as well. DNA is going to be going public this year, and so we'll be similar to a Galaxy Digital trading on the regular stock market, and you'll be able to buy the stock of us. So here's a little bit of a history of DNA. We started something called Mastercoin, which was the first ICO ever out there. And then Brock started blockchain capital and was involved in blockchain capital for the first 3 iterations of blockchain capital. Was one of the, they were the largest GP in many early stage crypto projects. Then Brock became the chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation and still is till this day the chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation. And then most notably after that, Brock started Tether, co-founded Tether with a few other people. And at the time, Scott loves telling the story that when it came to Tether starting, he said, we shouldn't do this. We're going to get kidnapped by the US government and we're going to disappear one day. And I don't want to invest in that. So Brock did and Scott did not. So Tether became a huge, massive success for them or for Brock, which went on to working on helping crypto companies raise a lot of money. So early on, Brock and Scott were doing a lot of mining and ended up with a bunch of Bitcoin. And they said, let's figure out a way to leverage this Bitcoin into other Web3 projects. And so they did that. And then we started helping companies raise more money. We ended up helping Bancor raised around $100 million. Then the largest project that DNA was involved in was a company called EOS. EOS ended up raising around $4 billion, which went on to be one of the largest ICOs ever, and which didn't really start EOS and is now doing a lot of other things. And then went into Hedera Hashgraph. We had helped them raise around $100 million for Hedera Hashgraph. And then on the TradFi side of the business, so outside of crypto, there's a name up here that none of you recognize because it's mostly a crypto crowd. But on the TradFi side of the business, we invested in a project that is used by public companies to track the movement of shares inside of public companies. And that's called Sequire. Sequire has a database of around 10 million retail investors that are invested in public company stocks. So what we're doing is we're taking this database of 10 million retail investors. So we have this software that public companies use, and they can tell who owns their stock. Even if somebody owns 1 share of stock in the company, we have their name, their address, their phone number, their email address, their Facebook, their Twitter, all of their relative information. And we're going to transfer these people and educate them about how to be Web3 investors and to teach them about the tools that they need to become effective in the decentralized space. We also own a lot of conferences. So outside of the Web3 space, we own the largest microcap conference in the world. We gather together hundreds of public companies every year where we help them connect with really large investors across the world. And we matchmake investors with particular types of companies. So in a different format than this, the regular TradFi investors aren't as much fun as the crypto investors. It's much more, you schedule a meeting to meet a particular project. We have one-on-one meetings set up for them, and we do 2 days of that in multiple cities. And then we launched another one in Puerto Rico, which is where DNA is from. We launched the Sequire conference in Puerto Rico, and we match investors with public companies. Earlier this year, we bought, or in 24, we bought a company called Coral Capital. So Coral was managing a lot of money for Scott and for Brock. And instead of us starting our own funds and taking our money out of Coral, we just bought the company and put it into DNA. And that's the core of our business in the in the asset management side. So our business is broken down into 4 different areas. We have the advisory services, we have the asset management, we have market making, and then we have community and events. On the advisory side of our business, what we do is we help companies that are, either looking to do a token launch or needing to come up with an idea about what to do. And we use our expertise to help in this process. We help in the process of raising capital. We help in the process of writing the papers that they need to get this done. We help in everything that's necessary to put it together, creating an advisory board, bringing in the right people, everything that a company needs or a project needs to get off the ground. Even from a technical perspective, we'll help them bring in the appropriate technical team to make that happen. Let's see. One thing that we launched this year that we're super proud of is something called the DNA Deal Desk. Has anybody become a DNA Deal Desk member? All right, good. So you're all prospective DNA Deal Desk people. So the DNADealDesk.com, you can go here and you can invest alongside of DNA in the projects that we're investing in. So when we invest into projects, we get an allocation that we then can take and put on the DNA Deal Desk. And these are companies that we've vetted and that we think are worthy of investing in. And then people can make a choice of whether they'd be interested in investing alongside of us. And in some cases, they're newer companies that we haven't invested in, but that we think are good projects. And then you invest into the company, you're invested into an SPV that we manage. And then that SPV is turned into a token. Your allocation of that SPV is a token. And then you own a tokenized asset that then can be traded on an ATS inside the platform. So there's some liquidity that gets created of the private ownership of the SPV inside of the DNA Deal Desk. So our goal is in doing these events is to meet more companies that want advisory services, that want to become part of the DNA Deal Desk, that we can help raise money for, that we can introduce to our different LPs that are on the platform. And if you haven't signed up already, which it sounds like nobody has, so we'd love to have you guys all go to DNA Deal Desk and sign up, become accredited an investor on here, and then people can make an investment into these different projects. And there's great projects that are on here. And a lot of times there's projects on here that we negotiated a long time ago that have a much lower valuation than where they're raising money now. So there's a project on here that just finished. We just finished raising for that had we were raising at an $18 million valuation that just finished around at $100 million valuation. And we still had allocation at the $18 million valuation. There's like 3 or 4 other ones on here that are the same, that are selling our interest in these companies at a much lower level than where they're currently raising. So it's definitely worth checking out. There's one that's doing a TGE in 2 days. 2 days. So Quai Networks is on here doing a TGE in 2 days. I think the token's going to be at 60 cents. You can buy it on here for 10 cents. Our allocation is. So if anybody has an interest in that, and it we manage the entire process of when you invest into the project. You don't need to worry about it. We manage the selling. Our market making team handles all of the selling of the projects. The next part of our business is the asset management side of the business. We have a number of different funds that we manage. So we take in LP money for different funds out there. And we have a couple of, very liquid funds. We have what we call our Helix Opportunity Fund is our early stage venture fund, which is mostly Scott making decisions about where he wants to invest. Scott is very good at picking early stage crypto deals and having them succeed. But we don't just invest in companies like a small check and then disappear. Typically, when Scott does decide to invest in a company, you will be getting a phone call every single day, and he is intimately involved in your business and wanting to know exactly what's going on all the time. And they only choose, say 7 or 8 a year to invest in. So it's not like we're throwing a bunch of checks all over the place. We are very particular about what we're investing in. Then we have a liquid token fund, which is investing in lots of liquid token opportunities, lots of OTC trades that are out there. We have an AI compute fund. We just bought around $30 million worth of H200s, and we are using those H200s to do lots of deals. We're reselling those H200s. We're leveraging them for equity in other businesses that need access to them. We have a multi-tranche liquidity fund, which is our market-making team that is a liquid token trading fund, literally making hundreds of thousands of trades a day, a month, and doing really good returns on that. That fund has been returning somewhere between 25 and 35% a year. It can be custodial or non-custodial. So you don't need to give us your crypto and we can trade it for you. We connect your accounts to with our APIs, and then we trade it for you. And at the end of the month, you send us a check for what we produce for you for that month. And then we have a high yield fund, which is also market neutral in a sense and has been doing fantastic. I think it's 25, 30% right now with zero drawdown, lending fiat into the crypto markets. So that's been a fantastic alternative for people that are looking for liquidity out of their fiat, not taking massive risk in the field. Like for somebody that's investing in the S&P and is happy with 7 to 10%, these look like amazing investments to them. To crypto investors that want to see 400%, not as happy, but these are still really good investments, especially if you want to hold on to your own crypto, if you can do that. I'll skip through these because I just talked about them. Then our market making business this year, we started a market making business, or in 24, we started a market making business. So we're making markets in all of these different cryptos that we're investing in. So we're interested in talking to your projects. If you are looking for market makers. We're very interested in that side of the business. We're good at it. We take a approach that is very project centric, and we know where we've lost money in the past in tokens that we've launched and what market makers have done to us. And we're trying to avoid projects having that same thing happen to them. And then the last part of our business is our events and community. So this year we'll do between 10 and 14 events all over the world. We leave here, we go to Denver, we go to Paris, and then Dubai, and then you name it. But the team is very busy all over the world putting on these events and educating people about investing in crypto, and then working with different projects across the world about the things that we're doing. So we like to build community. We think building community is a super valuable piece of the ecosystem, and that building community is something that is valuable for for getting the brand out there and for getting our partners' names out there as well. Because it's very hard for people to get attention from the right people. And then, let's see what else we have here. A lot of these things, we built a virtual platform as well, where we can throw these conferences virtually. This is much more suited to the TradFi investors that are learning about crypto now. A lot of the traditional investors in the crypto space have no idea how any of this works and have no idea where to start. And so what we do is we run educational series where we get these new investors to come in, we educate them about where to start and how to start. So it's not preaching to the choir, right? At these events, at Consensus and 2049 and places like that, you do get a lot of people that know a lot about this market. Whereas in these other virtual environments, we can get investors that just want to dip their toe and learn about the market. So this is what we try to do inside the space. These are some of the events that are coming up, or that we've done last year and that are coming up this year. We'll see you guys at all those. Again, the Sequire conferences and the Sequire platform, not a name that you guys recognize because it's in the traditional finance space, but it's a very valuable tool. It's like I said, 10 million retail investors. We can segment it by accredited investors, non-accredited investors. We can email them, we can SMS them. We do all kinds of marketing to them. Our traditional business here is traditional stocks that trade on the regular stock exchange will hire this company to market out their story to traditional investors. And we're taking that same approach and educating them about Web3. This is our very good-looking team of people. All have been in the space for a really long time. We have a long history of lots of different projects on the advisory, the asset management, on the events team. And that's DNA. That's what we're doing. So if you didn't know what we are, one other thing that I didn't mention, we've started a neobank. So DNA, if you go to dnafinancial.io, you can sign up to open an account at our bank. We'd love to have you all open up bank accounts with us. And we're very crypto friendly. You can deposit crypto with us. You can mint Tether out of the bank account. So depending on the amount of money that you are transmitting through the account, we can actually mint Virgin Tether out of the account. So if that's of interest to anybody, which seems to be to a lot of people, we have the ability to do that. You can deposit fiat from all over the world. We have corresponding banks that we've partnered with all over the world. So anybody that's ever had a crypto account closed or a bank account closed because you're in the crypto business, we would love to talk to you and have you open up an account. It's dnafinancial.io is the bank, and we can open personal and business accounts for you there. So I appreciate you guys all coming here. Hopefully that's a little bit of information that you know about DNA now. Enjoy the space. Again, this goes until 1 o'clock this morning. So hang out, enjoy, and hopefully you have a great consensus. Thanks a lot.